The people behind me are absolutely loving it. Hello guys and girls, today you joining me with the new Caterham 7 SuperSprint. That's right, although this car may look like it's come from a time of black and white TVs, this car is in fact brand new. Now it's a limited edition model to celebrate 60 years of the 7, and as such only 60 models were made, and they all sold out within just 6 hours of the car being launched. Now I've been lucky enough to spend the weekend with this car, but what is it like? Well, let's find out. Now first off, let's talk about the styling, because I'm sure you'll agree it is a fantastic looking car. Now this particular colour is called Dijon. Each colour was named after a racetrack, and as you can see this is a very dark navy with a white noseband. It kind of looks like it's got white lipstick. Now this is a retro themed car, and as a result there is retro paraphernalia everywhere. Just look at this nice Momo wooden steering wheel. It's finished very nicely and it feels very nice in the hand. You've also got a tan dashboard with Smith dials, and the battery master cutoff switch looks like it's come straight from the 50s. It looks fantastic. You've also got this sumptuous leather seat as well. Now this car was available in either a two-seater or a single-seater, and as you can see this is a single-seater. I've got this triangular roll bar as well. Now if it were a two-seater you would have a rectangular roll bar to protect the passenger, of course, but it is a wonderful looking car. It's presented really nicely. You may note this really small windscreen. This is a Brooklands windscreen. Now when you were to buy this car, when it was available of course, you could opt for a full proper windscreen if you preferred that. This car also has no roof, and the weather in the UK this weekend has been awful, so apologies that the car is dirty. The roads aren't too clean, I'm afraid, so I can only apologise for the state of this car, but I'm sure you can see it's been well enjoyed, and I've still got some more enjoyment to come. Right, first I need to get in. So what I didn't mention is that this car comes with a 4-point harness, so getting in can be a little bit time consuming. One click. Two click. And three click. Right, so goggles will be necessary. It does get rather breezy in here, as you can imagine. Right, here we are, goggles on, and a car like this really deserves driving gloves, so I've gone out and bought myself a pair of lovely driving gloves. Engine on, oh yeah, right, okie dokie, I think I'm good to go, so let's disembark on my journey into yesteryear. Make sure nothing's coming, I'm good to go. Right. Oh, that sounds good. Apologies in advance for any wind noise. As you can appreciate, it's quite difficult not to get any wind into the cabin, especially on today where it is very breezy. But anyway, let me talk to you more about the engine, what makes this car go. So, underneath the bonnet, you have a 3-cylinder, 660cc turbocharged petrol, which has been taken from a Suzuki. Now, normally it would offer 80 brake horsepower, but thanks to the Caterham Works racing team, it's been tuned and throttled, so now it gives 95 brake horsepower, and it also has 111 Newton meters of torque. Okay, I know it doesn't sound like a lot of power, but let's not forget this car weighs just 490 kilograms, so it is extremely light. But what about performance figures? Well, it will hit 60 miles per hour in a very windy 6.9 seconds and continue to a top speed of 100 miles per hour. Yes, I know that doesn't sound that fast, but bear in mind that this car is so low to the ground, it feels like you're sat on the tarmac. So I would imagine 100 miles per hour feels a lot faster in this car. Believe me, whoa! There we are, there's 60. So this power is mated to a 5-speed manual gearbox with power going to the rear wheels. And in short, this car is fantastic to drive. Now, I'm a tall guy, so the driving position isn't exactly fantastic or favourable, but in a car like this, it doesn't matter. This car wasn't built to be practical, it was built to be fun and to give you a taste of what owning a classic car would be like. And Caterham, you have smashed it. You have done such a good job with this car. It really does feel like I'm driving a classic car, but this car is brand new. I really can't get my head around that. It's crazy. Oh. Now let's talk about how the car drives. Well, in typical Caterham fashion, the car feels alive. There are no driver aids whatsoever, so there's no traction control, no anti-lock brakes, no airbags. So basically, if you cock up and make a mistake, I'm afraid you're on your own. But because this car is race inspired, you do get adjustable suspension as well as a limited slip diff. This is all about car and driver in perfect harmony. Oh, come on, yes, yes. Into fifth, yes. That gearbox has got a really nice change to it. It snicks into place really nicely, and it's got a rifle bolt precision to it. What I like about this car is that it's on skinny tyres. They are only 155 millimeters wide, so they are definitely very, very skinny. Now the great thing is that this car will grip when you want it to, but if you want to have a bit of a tail happiness, you can also do that as well. Just gently apply the throttle, and then Bob's your uncle. The back steps out rather nicely. And it's still controllable because this car hasn't got a lot of power. It's predictable. The steering is so direct. It's almost intuitive. You barely need any input through this tiny steering wheel to get the car where you want it to go. It really is fantastic. Now the pedals are very close together, so you do need to think carefully about your footwear when you drive this car. But on the plus side, it does mean you can heel and toe with incredible ease, which for a keen driver is fantastic. Now it's very easy to get giddy with this car, very easy. But there is an elephant in the room, two elephants in fact. Firstly, if you did want to buy this car, I'm afraid you can't because, as I said earlier, 60 were made and they all sold out within 6 hours. The second elephant in the room is the price. Now, how much do you think this car would have cost you brand new? Nope, guess again. Nope, you're dead wrong. This car would have cost you nigh on £30,000. Now, that's a lot of money for a car which is, let's face it, a weekend car. It's more of a toy than a car. And that's no disrespect to Caterham. I'm not saying that your car's a novelty, because it isn't. It really is a fantastic bit of kit. But at the same time, this isn't a car that you would drive day to day. You can't pick the kids up from school. You can't really do any kind of shopping. But then again, this car wasn't designed to do that. This car was designed to look cool and to bomb around racetracks. Now, as you can imagine, this car will attract a lot of looks, so if you're an introvert or if you're shy, I'm afraid this simply isn't the car for you. The people behind me are absolutely loving it. And that's what I love about this car. When people see it, they smile, and it's a great conversation starter. The amount of people that I've spoken to this weekend whilst I've had the car, that want to know more about the car, how old it is. I actually spoke to a guy earlier. He thought that this car was 50 years old. And when I told him it was brand new, he was dumbfounded. He simply couldn't believe that this car was new. And, you know, why would you think this car is new? It looks like a remnant of the 50s. Now really, I feel like I should be driving this with a handlebar moustache and I should be wearing tweed, but I've got the goggles and I've got the gloves, so I'm kind of halfway there. Now, as you would expect from a car as light as this, it feels so agile. At this point, it's difficult not to use any cliches, but it's as nimble as a housefly. Oh, pothole. This car is so well balanced, it's so well judged. You can tell that Caterham has been doing this for many, many years. Well, over 60 years now, in fact. Because it's simply wonderful, 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 wonderful. So, to sum up, the Caterham 7 SuperSprint. As a car, it is of course compromised and it's terribly impractical. But you know what? This car wasn't built for practicality. It was built for pure motoring joy. And you know what? This car delivers it in spades. And I like the fact that it gives you a taste of classic car motoring, but with modern components. Therefore, it should be more reliable. Yes, I know it's a rather pricey car, but put it this way, if you want a modernised MGB, that will cost you around £60,000. That's twice the price of this car. So all of a sudden, this looks like a bargain. Okay, maybe that's a stretch too far, but you get my point. Overall though, for SuperSprint, it's super. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up and please subscribe for more car obsession.